Chapter 3203. Restart the deity slaying plan. As for why we are helping you, it is because we want you to join us in a plan. As for the person who was captured, we found out that he is a junior named Lin Yi. Lin Ling narrowed his eyes when he heard that. When they saw Lin Ling's expression, they immediately knew that Lin Yi must be related to the son of demon. Lin Yi appeared in Yunzhou because he wanted to find you. You may not know that there are rumors about you in Jiuzhou. Some said that they saw you in the East region. Some said that you were in the North region. Anyway, as long as there are rumors about you, there will be several groups of people looking for you. Lin Yi seems to think that you are still in Yunzhou, so he wanted to enter the eternal forbidden forest. Finally, he was discovered by the Emperor of Heaven and was captured alive. In the end, Lin Ling was certain that the two of them were not lying to him. If it was really Lin Yi, he would definitely come to Yunzhou to find him. Moreover, we can help you save them. You should know that although you are powerful, you are relying on other trump cards. Your real combat strength is only at the Sage-to-be realm, Li Hongwang said. He had fought with Lin Ling before, because he wanted to know Lin Ling's strength. As a condition, I hope you can join us in our plan. Yes, Li Hongwang said when he saw that Lin Ling was silent. What plan? Yes. Lin Ling frowned. Restart the deity slaying plan. Yes. When they heard that, they looked at each other and finally told him their purpose. Deity slaying plan. Yes. When Lin Ling heard that, his expression changed slightly. That's right. Because we have the same enemy, and there are many people who want to destroy God. We've formed an alliance, but we can't do anything to God. We've fought for many years, but to no avail. That's why our plan ended. However, not long ago, your God-slaying grand spell formation completely moved us. That's why we know that you're indispensable to our plan to destroy God. Yes, they said with a smile. They knew that Lin Ling was moved. Interesting, okay, I will join you. Yes. Lin Ling finally understood the purpose of their visit. As for the deity-slaying plan, of course it was martial god Qilin. Haha, wife, he finally joined. Seeing this, Li Hongwang laughed excitedly. The woman beside him also heaved a sigh of relief. She had finally managed to pull the son of the devil into her camp. However, in order to recruit this guy, they had put in a lot of effort. Of course, with the name of the son of the devil, it was all worth it. Let's save the people first. Then I'll take you to see the other people who have joined the plan. Oh right, you've already met one of them, and he has a very high opinion of you. Li Hongwang continued. If he knew that you were still alive, he would definitely be very happy. Oh, I have. Hearing that, Lin Ling was curious. You'll see when the time comes, wife. Get ready to work. Li Hongwang shouted excitedly, but the woman next to him slapped him fiercely. I told you, don't call me wifey outside, call me by my name. I'm sorry, wife, I know I was wrong. Li Hongwang held his cheeks and said pitifully. But as soon as he finished speaking, another slap landed on his face. This made Lin Ling shake his head and laugh. This guy was tall and strong, but he was unexpectedly henpecked. Even Xiaoyu began to giggle. The few of them quickly left the ancient city and headed in another direction. That was obviously the core area of the Cloud State. The Cloud State was below the Spirit State, but because it was in the territory of the Cloud Emperor, Lin Ling alone could not shake the Cloud Emperor. As for the Sky Emperor, not long ago in the Demon Metropolis, this guy repeatedly framed Lin Ling, and Lin Ling had long wanted to kill him. Moreover, in the Cloud State, that guy could not use his ancient power anymore. Lin Ling and Xiaoyu stayed in an inn. Lin Ling carried the little white rabbit and the little deer to bed, then covered Xiaoyu with a blanket. Just as he was about to leave, he saw Xiaoyu looking at him with bright eyes. Xiaoyu, what's wrong? Nothing, I can't sleep. Seeing Xiaoyu's cute appearance, Lin Ling immediately knew that Xiaoyu must be thinking about what happened during the day. This was because in Xiaoyu's heart, Lin Ling was the big brother next door, bright and cheerful. However, today, Lin Ling's demonic aura clearly shocked her greatly. Lin Ling shook his head helplessly. In his life, he had learned martial arts, and he had killed countless people. Are you thinking about what happened during the day? You're a little scared of Big Brother. Of course not, Xiaoyu anxiously said, as if she was afraid that Lin Ling would misunderstand. Lin Ling immediately smiled and stroked Xiao Yu's smooth forehead, saying, Xiao Yu, your grandpa is right. Big brother Lin Ling is not a good person, and he has killed many people in his life. He doesn't want you to be with me, because he is afraid that I will lead you astray. However, Xiao Yu, don't worry. No matter what kind of person I am, even if I am the great demon of the 9 states, in front of Xiao Yu, I am the big brother who will protect Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu, you just need to live a happy life. Big brother will take care of all the dirty things for you. After saying this, Lin Ling smiled and left. The lights in the room were turned off, but Xiao Yu's big eyes were shining. She hugged the rabbit next to her and said, Little white rabbit, I don't think big brother is bad at all. However, the little white rabbit had already fallen asleep and was snoring. I can't see. I didn't see big brother Lin Ling kill people. He is my good friend, who played with me on the grassland. Then, Xiao Yu comforted herself and gradually fell asleep as well. Early the next morning, the ancient city was bustling with noise and excitement. The martial artists of the Cloud State were all walking towards a huge square. This was because 3 days ago, Emperor Yin had sent out a message that he was going to form an alliance between the Cloud State, the Sky State, and the Qing State. This was great news for the Cloud State. According to Emperor Yun's message, as long as the alliance was successful, the Cloud State would receive many cultivation resources from the Qing State. Although the Qing State was the weakest in the 9 states, it was still one of the divine lands. Naturally, there were many cultivation resources there. Let's hope it works. I heard that Emperor Qing wants Emperor Yun's help, and wants the Cloud State to protect the Qing State. That's why he made this request. This Emperor Qing wants our help but doesn't want to pay. Isn't he thinking too highly of himself? Yeah, I heard from the Yun residents that Emperor Qing only gives us 1/3 of his cultivation resources every year. In my opinion, he should give us half. As they walked along the main road, the people discussed animatedly. Moreover, when they thought of the Qing State asking for their help, they felt a sense of superiority. On a huge square, all the strong martial artists of the Cloud State had gathered. 3 high platforms were located in 3 different directions of the square. On them sat the emperor gods of each state. They sat there quietly, making the square extremely silent. This was because the aura of the emperor gods was quietly spreading, making people feel as if they could not look directly at them. Today, we are indebted to the 2 emperor gods for coming to the Cloud State as guests. This is the blessing of the Cloud State. Chapter 3204. Translator. Naebo Studio Fate really wasn't that convincing. The one who spoke was a man in a dragon robe. He sat on the dragon throne with his eyes half closed and sipped his tea. His action seemed simple, but it carried a domineering aura. He was Emperor Yun of the Cloud State. Haha, today we have formed an alliance. In the future, the 3 emperors will definitely rule over the 9 states. The Divine Prefecture, where we are located, will definitely rise in ranking. I have this confidence. Next, a man in a white dragon robe spoke. It was the Celestial Emperor of Tianzhou. Their words had undoubtedly stirred up Yunzhou. The 9 prefectures were ranked. Their Cloud Prefecture, Sky Prefecture, and Qing Prefecture were ranked at the bottom. Therefore, when they saw the other Divine Prefecture martial artists, they more or less felt inferior. But in the future, their Cloud Prefecture would also be ranked at the top. This was naturally something to be happy about. What a shameless person. On the 3rd seat, the 3rd princess said in a low voice, her face expressionless. If we hadn't captured Lin Yi, we wouldn't have come here personally. Also, the alliance is just taking advantage of our Qingzhou. They didn't pay us anything at all. Instead, we have to pay them a salary every year, said an old woman angrily. She was Grandma Wendao. It was obvious that Qingzhou had been forced into this, because if they did not come, or even if they did not agree, then Lin Yi would die. Emperor Qing, what do you think? As though they knew that the 3rd princess was unwilling, the 2 god emperors cast their gazes over. Hearing this, the 3rd princess and the others were even more furious, but they didn't say anything. Men, bring out the spy of the 9 states 10 rapscallions. This person wanted to disrupt the order of the 9 states, but he was discovered by Emperor Yun's divine eye. In order to save the people of the 9 states, Emperor Yun personally captured this spy. Today, this spy will be beheaded in public, and let the people of the 9 states know that the 9 states can be safe with our Emperor Yun around. The celestial arch suddenly yelled. In the middle of the square, an iron cage slowly rose up. Inside the cage was a young man who looked extremely weak. He was Lin Yi. Clearly, the celestial emperor saw that the third princess was hesitating. So he deliberately made an example of the third princess to force her to agree. Bastard! Seeing the weak Lin Yi, Grandma Wendao and the third princess's eyes turned red. At this moment, they had no choice but to agree. Hee, that's a nice way to put it. Your era is coming. However, I heard that in the eternal forbidden forest, Sky Emperor of Tianzhou and Emperor Yun of Yunzhou have become other people's dogs. Since they are made to be dogs, there is no future for them. But at this moment, a mocking voice suddenly sounded from the silent crowd. When Emperor Yun and the Sky Emperor heard that, their eyes flashed with anger. The warriors of the Cloud State were naturally enraged because the intruder had called their Emperor Yun a dog. Nobody's talking? Or was it a silent agreement? Haha, the alliance of the 3 great divine continents made Qingzhou pay the price. But you guys only want to reap the benefits. How can you guys be so thick-skinned and say such things? Amidst the silence, the voice rang out again. Yunzhou was even more furious. Who was it that was so arrogant as to reprimand 2 great god emperors in front of the entire cloud region? Sir, why are you acting so sneakily? Do you only dare to speak in the dark? Moreover, the alliance of the 3 great divine continents is a matter of fate. No one can change it. However, before Emperor Yun could speak, the warriors of Yunzhou had already started scolding. That's right, this is a matter of fate. Yunzhou will definitely become the pinnacle of the 9 states in the future. Emperor Yun will surpass the 2 great god emperors of Miao State and Yin State, and rule over the 9 states. This is also the son of heaven's fate. Then, the voices in the square became louder and louder. Come out if you dare. An old man floated up and looked around the crowd for the person who had spoken. If I come out, I'm afraid the 2 god emperors will be wary of me. However, when the crowd thought that the troublemaker would not dare to speak again, the disdainful voice floated up again. Shameless boasting. The crowd roared and snorted in their hearts. The intruder was so stupid. He was about to die. And yet he was still so arrogant. Sir, you may have a good reputation somewhere, but you seem to treat Yunzhou as your home. Fate is the most mysterious thing. You may be above everyone in one moment, but the next moment, you will die. This is the fate of taking a wrong step. At this moment, Cloud Emperor finally spoke. Is that so? Then let me ask you, what is the fate of the young man in the cage? Just as Emperor Yun finished speaking, another voice floated out from the crowd. What was surprising was that this voice was very faint, as if it floated out from every corner of the square. His fate is death. This time, Emperor Yun did not speak. Emperor Tian spoke coldly. All the land under the heavens belongs to the emperor. In Yunzhou, Emperor Yun's words are the will of the heavens. He can summon the heroes to defy the heavens and change their fate. At the end of his speech, the celestial emperor stood up, and the aura of a saint surged out from him. The square was instantly in an uproar. The martial artists looked at the 2 god emperors with admiration. It was as if the 2 god emperors had already led them to the peak of the 9 states. Suddenly, the voice in the square also quieted down. The third princess and Grandma Wendao frowned. They had to admit that they admired the person who dared to speak. However, in Yunzhou, it was useless no matter what the person said because the martial artists of Yunzhou were naturally on Emperor Yun's side. Therefore, the outcome of arguing with Emperor Yun would be miserable. What's wrong? You don't dare to speak? Come out. Didn't you say you don't believe in fate? Yunzhou is telling you, no matter where you hide, as long as you're in Yunzhou, you can't escape. Seeing that the voice was silent, the martial artists of Yunzhou looked around, trying to find the person who was courting death. However, the voice remained silent. Emperor Yun smiled disdainfully. He's just a clown. Everyone ignore him. His fate has already been decided by me. After today's matter, he will die without a doubt. Emperor Yun, Emperor Yun. Hearing that, the people shouted in admiration. I'm sorry, fate really doesn't have much persuasion for me. However, at this moment, the voice that seemed to have disappeared suddenly sounded again. Moreover, the crowd was forcefully separated and shot into the sky like fireworks. Those martial artists seemed to have been thrown out alive. Then, a slender figure walked out, holding the hand of a little girl. When this person appeared, the martial artists of Yunzhou were undoubtedly furious. Fate really doesn't have much persuasion for me. How domineering was this sentence? Looking down on fate and challenging fate. This was the worst kind of person, who did not know what was good for him. However, the eyes of Emperor Yin and the rest trembled violently when they saw the person who had come. As for the third princess and the rest, they stood up in shock and said in disbelief, "Literally, master." Under everyone's gaze, Lin Ling smiled, held Xiaoyu's hand, and walked out step by step. Chapter 3205. Translator. Naibo Studio stomp on the cloud state. How dare you? Who the hell are you? Finally, someone let out a cry of surprise and looked towards the two emperor gods. However, what terrified them the most was that the two god emperors didn't move at all. Instead, their faces were filled with shock and paleness. This time, Cloud Prefecture fell silent. Because to be able to make two god emperors suddenly stop talking, this person was obviously not simple. They suddenly remembered what this person had said before. If I come out, even these two god emperors will be wary of me. Right now, everything was as such. Lin Ling, on the other hand, was still as calm as ever. However, he drew his sword with his right hand and ruthlessly slashed at the cage. With a cracking sound, the cage was cut into two halves, revealing the unconscious youth. This caused everyone to be shocked once again. This was because Cloud Emperor had said that the fate of the captured young man was death. Yet now, the person who came personally saved him, breaking his fate once again. Emperor Yin. Everyone hurriedly looked at Emperor Yin. Could it be that Emperor Yin was going to let them do whatever they wanted? However, Emperor Yin continued to stare at the newcomer in silence. No one knew what he was thinking. Let me. Seeing that Cloud Emperor remained silent, an expert from Cloud State finally made his move. Although this person was a half-saint, there were many half-saints in the Cloud Prefecture. Rumble. A large number of half-step saints shot out and unleashed their ultimate techniques one after another. The saint's light seemed to envelop the entire Cloud Prefecture. I can see your fate clearly. That is death. Almost at the same time, Lin Ling also opened his mouth. He gently lifted his foot and stomped heavily on the ground. Boom! The power of 600 worlds fused with the four great Danshians, and a shocking explosion erupted. There were also the four ferocious realm-swallowing beasts and dragon god Qi. With this stomp, the entire cloud state was crushed. With Lin Ling as the center, the earth cracked open. The soil was like a tidal wave that rushed outwards. Gradually, the core city of Yinzhou collapsed like a domino. As for those half-saints that had charged over, all of them were blasted flying by the ferocious force, and then their bodies exploded apart in midair. This step was clearly stomping on the cheeks of everyone in the cloud state. The faces of the cloud state cultivators all turned red, as if they had seen their father's murderer. How many years has it been since they've been humiliated like this? Plus, the opponent was only one person. One person dared to humiliate the entire Yunzhou? Those experts couldn't hold back their anger and charged forward once again. Even if they had to use the human wave tactic, they still wanted to kill this person. Stop. However, at this moment a majestic voice finally sounded. It was the voice of Cloud Emperor. This made everyone's jaws drop. These people were so arrogant, but Emperor Yin actually asked them to stop? Son of the devil, the cloud state has no grudge against you. Why are you treating us like this? However, Emperor Yin ignored the crowd. Instead, he stared at Lin Ling and said solemnly. As soon as he said that, everyone fell silent. The son of the devil. This young man was actually the son of the devil. Wasn't he dead? At this moment, those who had been hooting earlier were like ducks that had been grabbed by the neck. No wonder even Emperor Yin was wary of him. It turned out that Emperor Yin had to give him face because of his reputation as the son of the demon. Because today, I'm here to decide your fate. Lin Ling looked at Emperor Yin and spoke softly. Then I wonder what our fate will be. Hearing this, Emperor Yun frowned and asked. Death. Lin Ling shrugged, as if he was talking about the most normal thing in the world. However, as soon as he spoke, the entire sky of Yunzhou was filled with murderous intent. Emperor Yun and Emperor Tian exchanged glances. Their expressions were unusually ugly. What was surprising was that they didn't explode in anger. Son of the demon, we have no grudge against you. Why do you want us to die? Your enemy is the saintess from the Temple of the Immortals, the Heavenly Court. Emperor Tian said again. It was obvious that he didn't dare to challenge Lin Ling, because in Tianzhou, he had already suffered at the hands of Lin Ling. In the Forbidden Forest, he personally witnessed how terrifying Lin Ling was. In other words, even if they had the confidence to kill Lin Ling, they wouldn't be much better off. No grudge. Hearing this, Lin Ling laughed. In the ancient Forbidden Forest, the Heavenly Emperor had bewitched the experts of the 9 prefectures to kill him twice. Lin Ling had witnessed it for himself. Now, Emperor Yun had the nerve to say that he had no grudge against him. I just want to kill you. So what? Lin Ling didn't bother to explain. He shrugged and said, I don't need a reason to kill you. You. Hearing those domineering words, the Celestial Emperor was undoubtedly angered again. Then when did I offend you? Emperor Yun seemed to have a good relationship with Emperor Yun. However, at this time, he didn't want to get into trouble. Then do you know who this young man is? Lin Ling suddenly looked at Lin Yi. Emperor Yun was confused. He had listened to Emperor Yun and captured this person. However, he didn't know who this person was. It seems like you've been used as a tool. Let me tell you. He is my son Lin Yi. Seeing this, Lin Ling said word by word. His words were like thunder on a sunny day. Emperor Yun's body trembled. Son? The son of the demonic sun? He knew that things were going to get troublesome. This was because he had wanted to kill the son of the demonic sun. With how crazy the demonic sun was, he wouldn't let it go. After all, the demonic sun was a crazy demon who didn't even fear the gods. Emperor Yun, why didn't you tell me about this? Emperor Yun turned and looked at Emperor Yun angrily. It was Emperor Yun's idea to capture Lin Yi. I thought the son of the demon was dead. That's why I suggested it. Moreover, if we capture this person, the Azure Emperor will definitely come personally. Weren't you very tempted by this alliance back then? Heaven Emperor said expressionlessly. If I knew he was the son of the demonic sun, I wouldn't have captured him. Emperor Yun, you've killed me. Emperor Yun was furious. If it weren't for the enemy, he would have taught Emperor Yun a lesson. Stop arguing. Both of you are going to die. While the two were arguing, Lin Ling interrupted them and reminded them. The enemy is right in front of you. Don't you think you're letting the enemy off easy by fighting among yourselves? When these words came out, the 2 emperor gods finally reacted. However, their hearts were pounding. If an ordinary person saw this scene, they would definitely not say anything. They would just watch the 2 emperor gods fight among themselves. However, the demonic sun had reminded them. This kind of confidence, this kind of arrogance, it was impossible not to be surprised. Master, you're so powerful. Third princess, Grandma Wendao, and the others smiled and hurried towards Lin Ling. Behind them were the experts from Green State. They were all overjoyed, because they knew that the composed young man was shockingly the Azure Emperor, who stood behind the scenes in Pine Prefecture. However, they never expected the Emperor Qing behind the scenes to be so powerful. He alone was enough to make 2 emperor gods of the Divine Prefecture so fearful. Third princess, Grandma Wendao, take Lin Yi away. I'll deal with them. Lin Ling looked at the 2 of them and smiled. He also asked Xiaoyu to follow third princess. However, Xiaoyu shook her head. She hugged the little rabbit and led the little deer. She looked a little shy. Brother, I won't go. I'll stay here and watch you. Chapter 3206. Go all out. Lin Ling then turned to look at the celestial arch. The Sky Emperor also looked at Lin Ling. He knew that a battle of life and death was inevitable. Lin Ling, don't be too arrogant. If you really want to kill me, you may not succeed. Although the Sky Emperor had repeatedly suffered losses in front of Lin Ling, he knew of Lin Ling's trump cards. First, the God's Boat. Second, the God's Enchantment Array. Third, the God's Sword. But at present, the first 2 trump cards weren't here. As for the God's Sword, it consumed one's vitality. Lin Ling had used it once before, so he shouldn't dare to use it again. I really don't think it's that difficult. Hearing this, Lin Ling smiled. From head to toe, terrifying boundary essence began to erupt, like a tide, like clouds. He stretched out his right hand, and the Tyrant Song sword appeared in his hand. Without wasting any time, the 60% demon sword step slashed out. Following that, Lin Ling pulled back his sword, drew his bow and shot 4 arrows. The space-time divine steel also came crashing down from the sky, and Lin Ling, who had unleashed all of his firepower, was without a doubt extremely terrifying. The martial artists of Cloud State were scared silly. He's gotten stronger again. The Heavenly Emperor's expression changed drastically as he unleashed all of his ultimate techniques. He was at the second heaven of the Saint Realm, and he hoped that he could stop Lin Ling with his cultivation. But in reality, he didn't have much confidence, because he had witnessed the battle in the ancient Forbidden Forest. Rumble. Of course, when a person was close to death, their potential was indeed stronger than usual. After using his full strength, and even his trump card, he actually managed to block Lin Ling's all-out attack. Ha ha ha, Lin Ling, you can't do anything to me. The Celestial Varch was laughing maniacally, but there was also blood seeping from the corners of his mouth. It was clear that he had swallowed a poisonous substance that burned away his vitality in order to enhance his offensive power. Really? Seeing this, Lin Ling was also slightly shocked. However, he could also see that the Sky Emperor had borrowed some forbidden medicine. It could be said that as long as Lin Ling could hold the Sky Emperor back, the Sky Emperor would undoubtedly die. You can actually block so well? Let's see how long you can block for. Lin Ling coldly spat out these words. His surroundings became illusory, and the world within several thousand miles changed. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, chaos, and even the age of gods Lu Xian appeared one after another. This move shocked the entire Cloud State. Illusion, Emperor Yin and the Celestial Emperor exclaimed in unison. So what if you know? Can you break it? Lin Ling disappeared into the illusion, causing the illusory world to be filled with Lin Ling. Furthermore, every Lin Ling was firing at full power, bombarding the Heavenly Emperor. And this time, the Celestial Emperor panicked. Although he knew that these were all illusions, he could not tell which were real and which were fake. He could only engage in a chaotic battle, and such a chaotic battle would only continue to consume his life force. After all, the poison did not last long. On the other hand, thousands of miles away, people could see that the Sky Emperor was like a madman, attacking everywhere. However, there was no one around him at all. Under the Sky Emperor's crazy attacks, many martial artists in Cloud State were implicated by the Sky Emperor's means and were blown to death. As time passed, the Sky Emperor became more and more panicked. Emperor Yin, save me. Emperor Yun's expression was extremely solemn. He was also frightened by Lin Ling's means. Those illusions were too heaven-defying. It could probably torture an expert to the point of insanity. And now, should he make a move? If he did not make a move, he would be next after the Sky Emperor died. If he made a move, he might completely offend Lin Ling. Emperor Yin, if you make a move, I can guarantee that you will die faster than the Sky Emperor. As if sensing Emperor Yun's hesitation, Lin Ling placed his hands behind his back and said plainly. His words made Emperor Yun's thoughts even more chaotic. His face turned red. The martial artists in Cloud State also knew Emperor Yun's scruples, but they could not take it lying down. This was because the demonic sun had dominated the entire Cloud State alone. This was a great humiliation to them. Emperor Yin, make your move. He will kill you sooner or later. Why are you still afraid of him? That's right. If the two celestial emperors join forces, they might be able to kill him. He is confusing you because if the Sky Emperor dies, the demonic sun will have nothing to fear. This is all part of his scheme. The martial artists in Cloud State shouted one after another. These words made Emperor Yun's body tremble. That's right. If Lin Ling could kill him, he would have done so long ago. Why wait here? Obviously, Lin Ling could only barely kill the Sky Emperor. If the two celestial emperors joined forces, Lin Ling would definitely be defeated. Moreover, he still had the ancient power. Thinking of this, his eyes lit up, and his lips curled into a cold smile. Lin Ling naturally noticed that smile as well. He shook his head regretfully and said, "Looks like you're going to die even faster than the Sky Emperor." "Huh? Demonic son, I have seen through your scheme. Are you still trying to intimidate others? Your strength is only barely enough to defeat the Sky Emperor. That's why you are afraid of us joining forces. You are even more afraid of my ancient power. Am I right?" Emperor Yin floated up, looking majestic. However, his long hair was loose, and he looked like he had gone mad. Perhaps this was the most difficult decision in his life. It was also the most difficult battle. Therefore he became hysterical. "Demonic son, you have lost. You will die in cloud state today. Now that I have seen through your scheme, you should be afraid and regretting it." Ha ha ha. Emperor Yin opened his arms. He did not use his own strength, but summoned his ancient power. This was the safest way to kill Lin Ling. Emperor Yin kill him. Sensing the godlike power in the sky, the warriors of Cloud State were in high spirits. "Don't worry. I will kill him. I will kill him. I will kill him." Emperor Yin seemed to be determined. He roared, "Demonic son, it's time for you to admit that you can't kill me." Ha 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 ha. The sky gradually darkened as a gigantic palace descended from the heavens, suppressing all living beings in the world. This ancient power was definitely stronger than the one summoned by the Lotus Arch. It was even stronger than what Lin Ling saw in Spirit State. Of course, because Spirit State had the Mi and Xian sects. Lin Ling saw the ancient power of the Xian sect's sect master. If he added the ancient power of the Tantra sect's sect master, it was definitely stronger than Cloud State's. "Master." Looking at the dark clouds above the divine palace, the third princess was a little worried. "Third princess, don't disturb him. That kid won't die so easily." Beside her, Grandma Wendao said sternly. However, her eyes flickered because she did not have such confidence. It was also because the current Lin Ling's strength had exceeded Grandma Wendao's understanding. And this was the kid from the rainforest's sacred land. However, under their voices, Lin Ling still had his hands behind his back and was indifferent. "Brother." Even Xiaoyu began to worry. The mark of wind and rain had quietly appeared between her brows. It was extremely mysterious. Looking at Emperor Yin, he was still roaring like a madman. Most importantly, he saw that Lin Ling did not counterattack. Therefore, he thought that Lin Ling had given up. Chapter 3207. That doesn't mean others can't kill you. Ha ha ha, son of the demon. You may not have said anything, but you've admitted that you can't kill me. Fate wants you dead, so you'll die today. Emperor Yun's voice grew louder and louder. The ancient palace was only 1,000 miles away from Lin Ling. Fate isn't convincing at all. But at this moment Lin Ling finally spoke. "Attack!" Just as he finished speaking, two strange figures suddenly appeared behind Emperor Yun. One of them held a long spear. When the spear struck, plum blossoms fluttered. The other held a large saber. When the saber struck, it split the heavens. These were two Sage Realm experts, and they were attacking Emperor Yun at the same time. The ancient power that Emperor Yun controlled was now focused on Lin Ling. He couldn't block it at all. His expression instantly changed greatly. His mood was extremely terrible at this moment. He knew that he might die faster than the Sky Emperor. Was this fate? I've been fooled. Emperor Yun let out a roar, feeling extremely indignant. Actually, what you said before was right. I admit that I can't kill you, but that doesn't mean others can't. On the ground, Lin Ling shrugged his shoulders and said. After he spoke, the two sages' attacks had already arrived. They were extremely sharp and cut through the heavens. Emperor Yin was cut in half in front of countless people. His head was even pierced through by the spear. Emperor Yin was dead. This result was too quick. The martial artists in Cloud State didn't seem to be able to react. In fact, if Emperor Yin was wary of these two, he wouldn't have died. Unfortunately, the ancient power was targeting Lin Ling. After Emperor Yin died, the ancient power in the sky suddenly shook. Then, as if it had lost its master, it floated towards the heavens. Looking at Lin Ling again, he still had his hands behind his back and his eyebrows twitched. Under his soul, the illusions in the distance all disappeared, revealing a man covered in blood, who looked like a demonic person. The terrifying thing was that this man's body continued to swell. His skin looked like it was filled with bubbles. Obviously, this man had swallowed the poison left behind by the gods and suffered side effects. And he was the Sky Emperor. At this moment, the Sky Emperor was still conscious. He stared at Lin Ling on the ground, shocked. Emperor Yin, kill him! Kill him! He screamed in panic. This was because his poison had reached its peak. Even if Lin Ling didn't kill him, he would explode and die. But before he died, he could see Lin Ling die with him. That was worth it. However, after his voice, Cloud State was silent. Emperor Yin! Emperor Yin! The Heavenly Emperor was still shouting, but his voice was becoming increasingly weak. Moreover, as he stared at the martial artists in the distance, he discovered that their faces were extremely pale. This also caused him to be filled with incredulous thoughts. This thought made him shake his head, as if he couldn't accept it. Stop shouting, It's the first time you go. However, Lin Ling forced him to witness the truth with his own eyes, and tell him personally where Emperor Yin had gone. Impossible. Emperor Yin has the power of the primordial age. This sentence was the last straw that broke the camel's back. The Sky Emperor became hysterical. Poisonous blood began to spurt out of his body. When it landed on the ground was corroded. The poison floated in the air. Even a whiff of it would cause the body of a bystander to rot and die. The most terrifying thing was that this poison wouldn't disappear for 1,000 years. It would spread in the wind forever. You'd better take care of yourself. If I were you, I would have rushed into the chaos of the universe. I wouldn't implicate any more innocent people. Lin Ling didn't explain anything. Instead, he laughed. Hearing that, the Sky Emperor's last hope completely collapsed. He screamed in pain. I beg you, kill me, kill me. His whole body became distorted. His face was full of fist-sized blood blisters that kept expanding. It was a terrifying sight. I forgot to tell you. In fact, I just happened to know how to neutralize the poison that you used to increase your strength. Lin Ling had already left with Xiao Yu and the others. Save me. Hearing that, the Sky Emperor seemed to have grasped at his last straw. I won't save you. You're bluffing. However, Lin Ling walked further and further away. The Sky Emperor was stunned in the sky. His eyes were filled with despair. Boom. Finally, his body exploded and turned into a green cloud that was thousands of miles wide. It rolled and scattered with the wind. Obviously, Cloud State was facing a great calamity. For 1,000 years, this area would be a forbidden land for the dead. After the Sky Emperor's poison broke out, Lin Ling and the others naturally left Cloud State immediately. Not long after, they appeared in the chaos of the universe. Shaoli. When Grandma Wendao saw that they were completely safe, she immediately pounced on Lin Ling and hugged Lin Ling. I missed you so much. Come, give me a kiss. Kiss my lips, not my face. Grandma Wendao was still the same as before. When she saw Lin Ling, she couldn't help but want to tease him. The third princess and the others immediately giggled. What an annoying old granny. Xiao Yu looked at Grandma Wendao with disgust and jealousy. Only Lin Ling looked helpless. In the end, he gently kissed Grandma Wendao's wrinkled face. How disappointing. Why don't you kiss me? But Shaoli, is this really a kiss of love? Don't tell me you're going to marry me? Grandma Wendao was still teasing Lin Ling. Granny! Lin Ling couldn't help but laugh bitterly. Although he was extremely powerful now, in front of Grandma Wendao, he was still that brat from the sacred rainforest. Alright, I won't tease you anymore. What's this little girl's background? After Grandma Wendao smiled, she stared at Xiao Yu and squatted down to pick her up. Annoying! Xiao Yu hid behind Lin Ling and hugged Lin Ling's leg. She even pulled Little Rabbit and Little Deer to her side, as if afraid that Grandma Wendao would snatch them away. Oh, this little girl is really stubborn. She only wants my Shaoli, but this little girl's taste is not bad. Grandma Wendao frowned and didn't continue. She sensed that although this little girl didn't seem strong, she was hiding an extremely mysterious power. Therefore, if she angered this little girl, she might give her a blow and break her old bones. Third princess, Grandma Wendao, you guys go back first. I'm going to the spirit state. Yu and the rest are waiting for me. I don't want them to worry too much. Lin Ling also cut to the chase. After he finished speaking, he took out the Nether Dragon Half-Life liquid and gave each of them 3 drops. Those treasures naturally made everyone happy. They knew that every time they met Lin Ling, there would be benefits. Lin Ling had always been generous to his friends. This was also one of the reasons why they were willing to follow Lin Ling. Master, are you leaving again? You're the Emperor Qing behind the scenes of the Green State. The third princess didn't care much about the treasures. Instead, she looked at Lin Ling with reluctance. Go back. The Green State can't be without you. That's your territory. Chapter 3208. Translator. Naibo Studio. Back to the Spirit State. Third princess. The Azure Monarch's throne is something that you earned through years of hard work. I know that you feel guilty, because you are afraid of stealing my credit. But I can tell you that I am the realm monarch of the Spirit State. Lin Ling smiled faintly. He wouldn't stop until he was shocked to death. Sure enough, everyone sucked in a cold breath. The Spirit State was even bigger than the Cloud State. At this moment, the third princess no longer felt guilty. She knew that with her master's status, Qingzhou was not worthy of him. Haha, I didn't expect Little Li to become more and more powerful. Alright, you can go back first. You and the other girls should be worried these days. However, when we go to the Spirit Province next time, you have to do your best to protect us. Grandma Wendao said. Don't worry, Grandma. You only need to mention my name, Lin Ling, in the Spirit Province, and you can do whatever you want. Lin Ling waved his hand and left. Hearing those domineering words, the third princess and the others smiled excitedly. As for Lin Ling, he led the two saints, Lin Yi, and the others towards the Spirit Province. On this trip, Lin Ling also wanted to take the Divine Barrier Formation and restart the plan to destroy the gods. The Spirit State was incomparably peaceful with the presence of the Divine Barrier Formation. Even so, the warriors in the Spirit State were still on high alert. When Lin Ling and the others appeared in the sky, an oppressive atmosphere permeated the sky of the Spirit Province, causing Li Hongwang and Ho Yinru's expressions to change slightly. They looked at the ancient land and wondered if this was the place where gods had almost been wiped out. Son of the devil, god-slaying array? Li Hongwang looked at Lin Ling and said. Lin Ling nodded and smiled. This caused Li Hongwang and Ho Yinru's hearts to tremble. With their strength, they would likely be easily killed if they arrived here. Who is it? Just as the few of them were floating in the sky, an angry roar suddenly rang out. After that, a large number of half-saint realm experts flew over from afar. All of them wore neat armor, and there was a clear secret character on their helmets. Clearly they were from Tantric Buddhism. The security is quite tight. After all, the Spirit Province is so big. They noticed us as soon as we arrived. This level is quite good. Seeing this, Ho Yinru immediately praised. Her voice wasn't loud, but it wasn't soft either. So it was naturally heard by those half-saints. Sir, you'd better tell us who you are. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. Among the armored powerhouses, one of them let out a stern shout. Yo, you all are truly unyielding. Could it be that you all didn't see that we're all saint-level experts? Hearing that, Li Hongwang's face changed a little, because the person who came over scolded his wife, which made him feel very uncomfortable. After all, even he didn't dare to reprimand his wife. So what qualifications did these half-saints have? So what if you're at the saint stage? If you don't tell us where you came from, then don't blame us for being rude. But who would have thought that not only were those people not afraid, their attitude became even more ferocious. This caused Li Hongwang and the others' eyes to narrow. The cultivators of the Spirit State were indeed stubborn. Attack. Furthermore, seeing that the two of them were silent, the half-saints in front of them started attacking one after another. Seeing this, Li Hongwang and the others' faces were filled with anger. They were saint-level experts, but the half-saints were the ones who attacked first. Are they courting death? Wait. But soon, one of the sharp-eyed half-saints stared at the blue-robed young man, and his face changed drastically. It's the realm monarch, he exclaimed, and his voice caused the others to tremble. They looked carefully, and only then did they realize that Lin Ling was among them. Realm monarch, please punish us. The half-saints all knelt down on one knee. They actually attacked the realm monarch before this, which was an act of defiance against their superiors. Furthermore, Lin Ling was still alive, which made them extremely happy. They couldn't wait to inform the tantric sect of this news. Oh God, we've made a huge mistake. They all knelt down on one knee willingly, waiting for Lin Ling's punishment. Lin Ling looked at them with a faint smile. He could guess what they were thinking. He smiled and said, "Rise, you are all innocent." His words caused the half-saints to raise their heads, and their faces changed drastically. Even though a half-saint would be courting death if he took the initiative to attack a saint. But your purpose was to prevent enemies from infiltrating the spirit state and destroying the array formation. Therefore, not only are you not guilty, you are also rewarded. When we return, I will mention your deeds to the tantric sect. Lin Ling said again. His words caused the half-saints to become excited, and some of them even had tears in their eyes. All right, I'm in a hurry, so I'll take my leave first. Lin Ling smiled and led Li Hongwang and the others away. As expected of the realm monarch, the tantric sect's guards looked at Lin Ling's back with excitement. They didn't expect the legendary realm monarch to be so easygoing. Everyone, open your eyes and protect the spirit state. The leader felt an endless sense of honor. After standing up, he couldn't help but roar. The others also did the same. The new realm monarch of the spirit state controlled the godly array formation, all by himself, and almost killed the gods. This news had spread like wildfire in the 9 continents, and it had greatly increased the spirit state's reputation. Therefore, not only did the realm monarch not punish them, he even praised them. How could they not be excited? I didn't expect your reputation to be so high in the spirit state. At this moment, Li Hongwang was walking side by side with Lin Ling. He smiled and said, "Of course, you treat them like friends and family, and they will treat you the same way." Lin Ling looked afar. He had already treated the spirit state as his home. And now he was back. "Father." At the same time, Linny also woke up, and he looked at Lin Ling in shock. "It's good that you're awake. Now, I'll bring you to see your mother." Lin Ling couldn't help but smile excitedly. He then looked at Lin Yi, who was as tall as him, and sighed in relief. "Father." Lin Yi was still excited, and he quickly hugged Lin Ling. The two of them looked so similar that even Xiao Yu, who was beside them, rubbed the back of her head adorably. Not long after, a large number of people appeared in front of them. It was Xing Shi and Yu Yu, and the others. They saw Lin Ling from afar, and they were all overjoyed. "Haha, I knew it, my disciple will be fine. Brother Ling, ear. Lin Ling." One after another, cries of surprise sounded in the sky of the spirit state. "Yu Yu, mother." Lin Ling and Lin Yi also quickly walked over. Xiao Yu was left behind, and she looked ahead curiously. "Are these people Brother Lin Ling's family? It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back." Without a doubt, everyone surrounded Lin Ling. The tantric sages and Xing Xian were extremely excited. They looked at Lin Ling from head to toe, and when they realized that Lin Ling's strength had increased, they were even more relieved. Looking at everyone, Lin Ling was also in a good mood. He also roughly told them what happened in the ancient Forbidden Forest. Chapter 3209. The Pace of Revenge. I also believe in Sister Yor. Unfortunately, I was still unable to bring Big Sister Yor back this time. Yu Yu and Xian Yuan sighed. Their eyes were also a little moist. And Yuer, they had known each other since they were very, very young. They had gone through many ups and downs together. Who would have thought that they would still be separated today? What was even more unexpected was that a girl from the Rainforest Holy Land was now the saintess of the 9 prefectures Vicious 10. All of this was hard to accept. "Don't worry, I'll bring her back next time," Lin Ling promised Yu Yu and the others. Everyone quickly landed on the ground, appearing on a huge plain and walking towards the valley. "Brother Ling, who is this little girl?" Yu Yu finally saw the timid girl beside Lin Ling. "Xiao Yu, my savior." Lin Ling led Xiao Yu out and introduced her to everyone. "So cute." Xian Yuan saw Xiao Yu holding the little white rabbit in one hand and the little deer in the other. Her porcelain doll-like face made Xian Yuan's heart skip a beat. She wanted to pick up the little girl. However, Xiao Yu was still afraid of strangers. She quickly took a step back and hid behind Lin Ling. This caused everyone to be astonished. Little Yu has always lived in the ancient Forbidden Forest with Grandpa, so she is a little afraid of strangers. Lin Ling was also somewhat helpless towards Xiao Yu. This little girl was very clingy to him. Xiaoyu, don't be afraid. I'm big sister Ge. Xianyuan Ge still seemed somewhat unwilling. However, Xiaoyu did not give her any face at all. Not only did she not walk out, she almost hugged Lin Ling's thigh. Haha. Seeing this, everyone was amused by the cute Xiaoyu. However, they did not pester Xiaoyu anymore. Generally speaking, this kind of shy little girl would not accept others without a certain amount of time. After everyone arrived at the valley, they entered the guest hall. The master of Tantric Buddhism looked at Li Hongwang and Xianyuan Ge and realized that these two were not weak. They were probably only slightly weaker than him. Lin Ling, these two are? Xing Xian also looked at the two curiously. Most importantly, he felt that these two people were somewhat familiar. Li Hongwang, Ho Yinru. Lin Ling hurriedly introduced them and explained the purpose of their visit. The immortal couple. Unexpectedly, when Xing Xian heard their names, she cried out in surprise. Clearly he did know these two people. Senior, you must be one of the 4 heavenly kings of the spirit state, Xing Xiuyin. Ho Yinru, she was the first to speak. In the past we once roamed the Yin province, so we met Senior Xing Xian. Li Hongwang explained. This made Lin Ling and the others nod in realization. Lin Ling, are you going to destroy the gods again? Meanwhile, the master of Tantric Buddhism looked at Lin Ling sternly. Destroying the gods meant destroying the heavenly court. However, it was not a trivial matter. After all, they had prepared so much previously, but martial god Qilin still managed to escape. It was obvious how powerful martial god Qilin was. Don't worry, master of Tantric Buddhism. Our alliance has been around for 300 years. We're familiar with the heavenly court. Each of us has a blood feud with the heavenly court. However, martial god Qilin is too powerful. We haven't been able to find a way to deal a fatal blow to him. However, the son of the demon has the deity slaying formation. If he uses it at a crucial moment, it's not impossible to slay the gods. Li Hongwang said with a smile. However, after slaying the gods, we'll be hunted down by Luli Empress. When that happens, we'll have to stay away from the limelight. Besides, you don't have to worry about Luli Empress attacking the spirit state. She won't be able to swallow her pride. Also, the deity-slaying alliance is quite reputable in the 9 continents. We're the only alliance that dares to go against the heavenly court. Everyone knows that. Therefore, if Luli Empress attacks you, she'll be condemned by everyone. If she really wants to take revenge, she'll be looking for us, not the others. Ho Yinru continued to speak. Lin Ling felt a lot more relieved after hearing that. Luli Empress. She must be Tian Liuli. She should be at the peak of the 9 continents, the Yin state and Miao state. Lin Ling still had to look up to her. Since that's the case, there's no time to lose. I'm going to take the deity's boundary formation away. However, I'll leave the divine boat here. If anything happens, you just have to hide in the divine boat. At that time, even the martial ancestor won't be able to break through unless he spends an endless amount of time on the divine boat. Lin Ling was decisive. This was the best opportunity for him to take revenge. Alright, Lin Ling, you must be careful. The Tantric sect's Lord and Xingxian looked at Lin Ling and said. In the following days, Lin Ling accompanied his family while dismantling the deity's boundary formation. During this period of time, Lin Ling was the happiest and most relaxed. It was a pity that Yin wasn't around. Otherwise, he wouldn't have any regrets. As for Xiaoyu, she wasn't as shy as she used to be. She had gotten along well with Yu and the others. Of course, although Xiaoyu had accepted Yu and the others, she still had to see Lin Ling every day. It was as if Lin Ling was her grandfather. She would feel uncomfortable if she didn't see him for a day. Yu, Lin Ling, and the rest felt extremely helpless about this. However, Lin Ling remembered his promise to Xiaoyu's grandfather. He wanted Xiaoyu to stay by his side. Meanwhile, the 9 continents had also become famous as the demonic sun. That was because the heavenly emperor and Emperor Yin had been killed. This had temporarily shaken the 9 continents. In an instant, the demonic sun had become famous. On this day, Lin Ling had completely dismantled the 9 ancient gods' formation. Now, he only needed to find a suitable place to set up the formation. Then he could wait for martial god Qilin to arrive. Therefore, Lin Ling bid farewell to everyone and left. However, Xiao Yu was extremely stubborn. She insisted on following Lin Ling. This made Lin Ling feel helpless. Xiao Yu, what Brother Ling is going to do is very dangerous. If you stay by his side, Brother Ling won't be able to take care of you. Sister Yu, I can take care of myself. I can also take care of Brother Ling. Grandfather said that before he returns, I can't leave Brother Ling's side. Hearing those words, Yu and the others knew that Xiao Yu was determined to follow Lin Ling. In the end, Lin Ling also agreed to follow Xiao Yu along with Sakura. Next, Lin Ling brought Li Hongwang and the others and left the spirit state. Looking at Lin Ling's departure, Yu and the others were very worried. This was because Li Hongwang had once said that if they could destroy the gods, then the great calamity would come. They would have to face the pursuit of Luli Empress. At that time, the God Slayer Alliance could only flee. Therefore, everyone hoped that Lin Ling could escape this great calamity. However, they did not stop Lin Ling from going, because they knew that this was Lin Ling's lifelong wish. In fact, this was not only Lin Ling's lifelong wish, but also Li Xiaoyao's wish. If Lin Ling did not take revenge for the 3 members of the Tian family, he would not be able to rest in peace. Therefore, the destruction of the gods was inevitable. Chapter 32:10. The Hidden God Slayer Alliance. Because our God Slayer Alliance is classified as a secret, the location of our base cannot be known by others. While Li Hongwang was moving forward, he waved out a large number of paper cranes. The paper cranes flew in the chaotic space and gradually disappeared. Lin Ling knew that these paper cranes could see what was happening within a range of 10 million miles. The reason why he used them was because he was afraid of being followed. It's fine for now. Let's set off immediately. Lin Ling, use your full strength. After a while, Li Hongwang said solemnly and Lin Ling nodded. Let's go. Following a cry of surprise, Lin Ling and the rest ran wildly in the chaotic space with lightning speed. Lin Ling used the wind technique, and his speed reached 90 world speed. This made Li Hongwang and the rest secretly surprised. His speed was not inferior to theirs. Sakura was not good at speed, and he had a helpless look on his face. However, Li Hongwang hurriedly pulled him and ran wildly with him. Of course, using his full strength constantly consumed a lot of his world essence. Not long after, Li Hongwang and the rest were panting. When they looked at Lin Ling again, they realized that Lin Ling's expression was actually better than theirs. This guy is still a half-step saint. The 2 of them were surprised at the same time. How could they know that Lin Ling's wind technique was taught by Xiao Yu's grandfather? In terms of world essence consumption, it was naturally more economical than their methods. In addition, Lin Ling had 4 dantians. When one dantian was exhausted, the other dantian would be able to make up for it. Moreover, as he continued to use the wind technique, Lin Ling suddenly had a kind of enlightenment. His speed increased again, and he actually reached 120 world speed. This speed was even faster than Li Hongwang and the rest. This made them depressed and shout, "Freak!" Then, they took out precious heavenly materials and earthly treasures to let Lin Ling recover his realm essence. Unknowingly, 3 days later, an ancient continent appeared in front of them. Lin Ling's expression changed. Yuzhou. That's right, the base of the heavenly court. Li Hongwang and the rest looked at each other and laughed. Our God Slayer Alliance is right under the nose of the heavenly court. Ho Yinru said proudly. Amazing. The most dangerous place is also the safest place. I can't believe you guys thought of that. At this moment, Lin Ling had no choice but to be impressed. This was because they were under the watch of the heavenly court. If they were discovered, they would be wiped out in one fell swoop. The experts of the God Slayer Alliance would not be able to stop Martial God Qilin's massacre. However, it was also the reason why Martial God Qilin did not expect the God Destruction Alliance to be right under his nose. You may leave. Then, Li Hongwang took out a large cloak and used a secret technique to hide his identity. Lin Ling, I'll teach you a secret technique. As long as no one is within 2 meters of you, even martial ancestors won't be able to detect your aura. On the other hand, Ho Yinru looked at Lin Ling. But as soon as she finished speaking, her expression changed drastically. Because Lin Ling was right in front of her. but she couldn't sense any aura from Lin Ling. Moreover, even if there was, it was a chaotic aura. Obviously, Lin Ling's concealment technique was better than theirs. You really don't look like a half-saint. Ho Yinru shook her head helplessly. Lin Ling smiled and passed the aura concealment technique to Sakura. This secret technique was something he had accidentally obtained in his previous life. It was suitable for half-saints and allowed one to change their appearance at will. Sakura thought it was fun and turned into an old man. As for Xiaoyu, she didn't need to change because no one recognized her. Yu Province, TSK. The Divine Prefecture is even bigger than the Spirit Province. We were in too much of a hurry to leave the Divine Dreamland last time. Today, we must take a good look at the Yu Province. Alright. After landing on the ground, Sakura looked around curiously. When Lin Ling was dismantling the Divine Boundary Array, Lin Ling had given him a lot of Nether Dragon-associated fluid. This had greatly increased his strength and allowed him to reach the 5th level of half-saint. Most importantly, his White Bones talent had a portion of the aura of a dragon. According to the estimation of his strength, Sakura was at the middle stage of the half-saint realm. He was invincible under the heavens. Yu Province is very big, but there are many people from the heavenly court here. For instance, Emperor Yu. I heard that he is very close to the heavenly court. Therefore we must be careful. Li Hongwang whispered as they walked along the ancient street. Oh right, our God-slaying alliance has 3 leaders. You've already met one of them. As for the other 2, they should be rushing over right now. Ho Yinru also secretly transmitted her voice to Lin Ling. This made Lin Ling extremely curious. Who exactly was that person he had met? Before long, a huge imperial palace appeared in front of them. This imperial palace was like a pillar, dazzling in gold and jade, majestic and awe-inspiring. It reached all the way to the horizon, and one couldn't see the end of it. This is Emperor Yu's Sea Calming Divine Palace. Li Hongwang immediately explained. His words caused Sakura's expression to change. The God-slaying alliance's base was actually within Emperor Yu's imperial palace. After that, Sakura couldn't help but laugh. The God-slaying alliance really had a good plan. This was suggested by one of the leaders. The son of the demon has also met that leader. Li Hongwang immediately laughed when he saw Sakura's expression. It seems that this leader is also a talent. Lin Ling and Sakura couldn't help but nod their heads in admiration. Before Li Hongwang arrived at the Divine Palace, he took out a token. Immediately, the guards at the gate of the Divine Palace opened up a path for them. These guards were all at the peak of the half-saint realm. From this, it could be seen that Yu Province was indeed much more powerful than the Spirit Province. After entering the palace, they didn't enter the main hall. Instead, they walked through the side halls. Before long, the sound of women laughing could be heard in front of them. When they got closer, they realized that this was simply a lake of wine and a forest of jade. This was because these women were very beautiful. They wore thin gauze and were playing around a young man. The young man was flirting with the beauties from time to time. He simply looked like a hedonistic young master. This is Emperor Yu's 97th prince. In Yu Province, this prince is a person who doesn't practice martial arts and doesn't do proper work. Before they got closer, Li Hongwang explained and curiously stared at the beauties. However, he was quickly rewarded with a slap from Ho Yinru. Li Hongwang didn't dare to look anymore and quickly lowered his head. Seeing this, Lin Ling shook his head and smiled. However, his gaze was also fixed on the hedonistic young master. He discovered that although he looked hedonistic on the surface, there was a glimmer of light in the depths of his eyes. Obviously, this hedonistic prince was doing everything to hide it from outsiders. He obviously had a blood feud with the heavenly court. Yo, my playmates are here. Let's talk inside. The young man also saw Lin Ling and the others. He laughed loudly and swaggered over to greet them. Moreover, he led them into the hall. There were even more beauties in the hall. However, they only passed by the hall and quietly walked along the side corridor. When they looked back, they saw that Lin Ling and the others had already appeared in the hall. This was obviously an illusion. What a profound spirit formation technique. Lin Ling couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Haha, this was set up by our other leader. The hedonistic prince also tore off his mask and became incomparably calm. Moreover, he curiously looked at Lin Ling and the others. Let's talk inside. It's not convenient to explain right now. Chapter 32:11. The Three Leaders. Li Hongwang walked along the corridor, and before long, a large number of doors appeared on both sides of the corridor. Li Hongwang took out a compass and calculated for a moment. Finally, he stopped at one of the doors and pushed it open. Fuck, they're really cautious. If I didn't guess wrongly, these doors should be changing at any time. Sakura couldn't help but exclaim. That's right. If you enter the wrong door, you'll end up in hell. You'll die for sure. Li Hongwang immediately walked through the door. The world behind the door was filled with singing birds, fragrant flowers, green mountains, and clear water. It was a completely different world. Furthermore, there were several powerful auras hidden in the world. Not only were there martial saints, there were even a few martial progenitors. Li Hongwang, who are these people? The entrance of Lin Ling's group undoubtedly caused all the experts to become cautious. A large number of experts walked out from the Green Mountain. The person in the lead was actually at the First Heaven Saint realm. Most importantly, he was extremely young. People from the God Slayer Alliance. Li Hongwang said expressionlessly, as he looked at the other party. What are you doing, casually bringing people in? Are you trying to break the rules? The young man uttered a furious roar as his aura was unleashed. Jindong, don't mess around. You don't have the final say in the God Slayer Alliance. Seeing this, Li Hongwang also unleashed a powerful aura. Li Hongwang, safety first. These people haven't passed the test. How can you bring them in so easily? The others clearly didn't trust Lin Ling and the others. After all, the God Slayer Alliance's base was a matter of great importance. Therefore, they had no choice but to be cautious. Keep an eye on them and take out everything they have. The youth in the lead waved his hand, and his gaze landed on Xiaoyu and Sakura, because he knew that the more ordinary an existence was, the more likely they were spies of the celestial heavens. Whereas Sakura had transformed into an old man, and Xiaoyu was a child. He didn't believe that there wasn't anything fishy about this combination. Under his gaze, there were immediately Saint Realm experts that attacked Sakura. Moreover, there were as many as 5 of them. This caused Sakura to be subdued in an instant. Motherfucker, you're courting death. Sakura also started cursing, but it was of no use. Jindong, do you know what you're doing? Seeing this, Ho Yinru was furious. Safety first. However, the young man in the lead didn't care about that at all. He attacked Xiaoyu. And when he saw the rabbit and deer in Xiaoyu's hand, he was even more puzzled, because he'd never seen anyone with a rabbit and a deer. Most importantly, this little girl didn't possess any strength at all. However, the more ordinary it was, the more suspicious it was. If you dare to touch her, believe it or not, I will kill you immediately. However, just as the youth was about to touch Xiaoyu, Lin Ling coldly spoke. This caused the young man to stop moving. He calmly looked at Lin Ling, and then smiled. I don't believe it. As soon as he finished speaking, his hand reached out toward Xiaoyu. Furthermore, he grabbed the little white rabbit in Xiaoyu's hand, as if he wanted to investigate something. Jindong, stop. However, when he lowered his head to investigate, someone stopped him. He saw that on top of a green mountain in front of him, a man had his hands behind his back, and was looking indifferently at the ground. The leader of the Tomb Raiders, looking at that person, everyone's expression changed greatly. That man's strength was not weak. He was actually at the peak of the saint stage. If you dare to attack again, that person will shoot an arrow at you. However, that man ignored everyone's gazes and continued to speak. This caused the young man called Jindong to be unable to help but raise his head to look over. Only now did he notice that a 5-meter-long enormous bow had suddenly appeared in Lin Ling's hand, and the divine arrow that seemed like a dragon god was even aimed at Jindong. It was a sign that if he continued to act recklessly, he would be killed with a single arrow. You! Jindong instantly shouted angrily. He didn't expect a junior at the 5th stage of the half-saint realm to be so arrogant. However, he could also sense that the bow was extremely extraordinary. Let go of the rabbit. At the same time, the man on top of the green mountain calmly spoke. In the end, Jindong reluctantly released the little rabbit. Son of the devil, why have you come to our God Extermination Alliance? The man on the green mountain clearly recognized Lin Ling, son of the devil. The surrounding people were instantly shocked. Naturally, they had heard of the son of the devil. It could be said that there were many hidden dragons and crouching tigers in the 9 prefectures. There were many experts who couldn't be underestimated, and the son of the devil was one of them. However, Lin Ling didn't say a word. He stepped forward and actually walked toward Jindong. What are you trying to do? Jindong also saw Lin Ling's actions and frowned. However, he didn't attack because he believed that the son of the devil wouldn't dare to be arrogant in this place. Bang! However, Lin Ling instantly attacked. The power of 600 worlds erupted, and his 4 dantians merged. His palm was like a dragon's claw and suddenly grabbed Jindong's neck. This action shocked everyone. Even Li Hongwang and the others were shocked. As for Jindong, after Lin Ling grabbed his neck, he immediately realized that he couldn't resist. Although he was at the first stage of the Saint stage, his strength wasn't enough to defeat Lin Ling. On the contrary, he was instantly subdued by Lin Ling and lost his ability to fight. Son of the devil, do you know what you're doing? If you dare to touch her, we can guarantee that you won't be able to leave this place. After being stunned for a moment, the experts in the surroundings shouted angrily, "Come on, kill me." Zhendong roared as well. However, the man on the green mountain's expression changed slightly, and he immediately said, "Stop," because he could see that Lin Ling really dared to kill him. I've said it before. If you touch even a hair on Xiaoyu's head, then you'll die. However, Lin Ling turned a blind eye and continued to look coldly at Jindong. His eyes were filled with killing intent, and it finally caused Jindong to break out in a cold sweat. How about you give me some face? At the same time, the man on the green mountain floated down. Who do you think you are? Why should I give you face? However, Lin Ling didn't even look at him as he spoke. His words caused the man to be furious. A junior at the half-saint stage actually dared to speak to him. An expert at the peak of the saint stage? Could it be that the son of the devil intends to die here? Strands of cold energy effused out from his body. Ha ha ha. Interesting. Truly interesting. Jindong, apologize right now. However, right when the man was about to attack, a carefree voice resounded through the boundless green mountain, and it caused a large amount of echoes. The expressions of the others instantly changed. Another leader had arrived. Jindong, apologize right now. Do you know who you've offended? He's a madman. There's nothing in the 9 prefectures that he doesn't dare to do. However, the person who'd arrived spoke once more, and his voice carried dense majesty. Leader. Jindong was naturally extremely unwilling to accept this. Listen to him. Otherwise, if you die, then you'll have died for nothing. At the same time, another clear and melodious voice resounded. To everyone's surprise, it was a woman who'd spoken this time. However, their expressions changed drastically because this woman was one of the 3 leaders. Outside the pavilion, there were many tables. Everyone sat down and started drinking. As for Lin Ling, he was welcomed into the pavilion to drink with the 3 leaders. Furthermore, this was the best treatment, as even martial progenitor realm experts were only allowed to drink outside the gazebo. Son of the demon, when I saw you in the ancient forbidden forest previously, you were indeed extraordinary. You actually swept away all the major forces. Even I admire you. Young Beast Lord raised his wine cup and waved it at Lin Ling. However, you secretly joined my force and stole many good things. You used me as a tool. You are the first person in the 9 prefectures to do so. Hearing this, the surrounding people were shocked once again. Lin Ling also noticed that although young Beast Lord seemed to be complaining, he actually didn't care. He smiled and said, "At that time I had no choice. I hope young Beast Lord doesn't mind. Let bygones be bygones. Now we're in the same boat." Young Beast Lord really didn't mind. He looked outside the pavilion and said, "Come, let me introduce you. This is you state's #1 saint stage genius, Yi Linyan. This is Senior Tsang Xian, a martial ancestor." Young Beast Lord introduced the experts in the God Slayer Alliance one by one. One had to admit that the God Slayer Alliance was really powerful. They were hundreds of times more powerful than the experts in the spirit state. However, Lin Ling could also see that young Beast Lord had spent a lot of effort to gather this group of people. This is Majin Tianzi from the Yen state. He is from the Tin Ghost tribe. Their tribe has very few people, but they specialize in the great tomb of the gods and demons. They have a way to break through any dangerous place and reach the heart of the tomb. Chapter 32:16. Today God slaying. If they were martial artists, I wouldn't have saved them. Since they have chosen the path of martial arts, they should have the awareness to shoulder the dangers. However, those children are not martial artists. They are outsiders and cannot have their futures decided by the heavenly court. Therefore I have to save them. Lin Ling withdrew his gaze and looked outside the side hall. I didn't expect you to have such compassion in a world where the strong are respected. Ye Shui also looked outside. Rumble. At this moment, the situation outside was even more terrifying. Countless divine cannons rained down, and even saints would be mercilessly killed. Son of demon, you're the one who's considered everything. If you hadn't set up these barriers beforehand, I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to withstand the heavenly court's divine cannons. Ye Shui suddenly said with admiration. It was Lin Ling's idea. Otherwise, the members of the God-slaying alliance would already be waiting outside for the heavenly court's experts. At that time, the God-slaying alliance would be greeted by the divine cannon. Needless to say, Lin Ling seemed to be very familiar with martial god Qilin's style. But Lin Ling didn't say anything. He continued to look outside. As he saw the divine cannon gradually disappear, he knew that a great battle had arrived. Young Demon Lord, it's time to fight. All of you go. Kill all of the heavenly court's people here. Lin Ling said to the voice transmission talisman. This was also the plan they had made in advance. All right, young Master Yao replied immediately. At the same time, the heavenly court experts in the sky slowly walked down the divine palace. He Godslayer Alliance? A bunch of trash. The entire divine palace has been blasted into ruins. If it were placed in the myriad worlds, tens of millions of worlds would have already been destroyed. The people of the God-Slayer Alliance wouldn't have been able to stop them. Go collect their corpses. The heavenly court's experts swaggered away, and they were already thinking of how to claim credit when they returned. However, when they landed on the ground of the divine palace, a terrifying killing intent finally erupted. Dong dong dong. The sound of war drums resounded through the sky of Yuzhou. Oh no, we've been tricked. The heavenly court's experts immediately reacted, and their expressions changed drastically. Rumble. However, just as they were about to make a move, the ground began to wriggle, and a huge mouth suddenly swallowed them. No, save me. What is this? It's so scary. The warrior who was closer to the mouth had just uttered a sound when he was swallowed whole. Following that, an enormous lump of black mud rose from the ground, making one's heart palpitate. World-swallowing beast. After seeing the black mud, the heavenly court's experts' pupils trembled violently. The heavenly court must die today. Once those words left his mouth, a terrifying suction force was born from the void that they had charged out from. It was actually trying to pull them back to the compass through the spirit formation channel. Fuck. Traversing the void to chase after me? That's too awesome. Seeing this, Sakura's face changed greatly. Things are getting troublesome. Lin Ling sensed that the suction force from the compasses were like countless tentacles that wrapped around his body, pulling him toward the spirit formation passage. Against this kind of divine power, Lin Ling's methods were all useless. If he was pulled back to the compass, the result could be imagined. Second brother, what should we do? Sakura was also being pulled by the suction force. He let out an anxious voice. The others also looked at Lin Ling and shouted, Son of demon, think of something. Hearing this, Lin Ling smiled bitterly. In terms of cultivation realm, he was the lowest among those present. How could he have any ideas? Previously, he was able to kill a god because of the power of the great divine array. Moreover, that array was set up for a long time. That was why it had such power. And now Lin Ling could be said to be powerless to resist. This also let him know that in the chaos of the universe, the great divine array, and other things were just external objects. The true power was still one's own body. It seems that we can't escape this calamity. In the end, Lin Ling sighed and said. Hearing this, everyone's faces dimmed. However, they soon smiled proudly. Enough, enough. Although we're going to die in the compass, at least we've dragged a god down with us. That's enough. That's right. Ha ha ha, we've got our revenge. Since they couldn't escape, they faced it with ease. Second brother, we've profited. Even Di Shirtion wanted to see it thoroughly. Perhaps, in the face of the power of a god, he also knew that any resistance was useless. However, how could Lin Ling be willing? There were still 2 of his enemies who hadn't died yet. He reincarnated. Was he going to die in the hands of his enemies? He was not willing at all. Unfortunately, it was useless. Instead, they were getting closer and closer to the passage. The terrifying thing was that the passage had already collapsed. However, because of the suction force of the compass, the passage didn't completely disappear. Brother, are we going to die? Xiaoyu was also being pulled by the suction force. Her little face was full of worry. Xiaoyu, I'm sorry. I promised your grandfather to protect you. But in the end, because of brother, I implicated you. Looking at the cute Xiaoyu, Lin Ling's eyes were full of guilt. Brother, we won't die. Xiaoyu gritted her teeth and seemed to have made a decision. She silently chanted something, and on her bright forehead, the mark of wind and rain appeared. Her little mouth moved slightly and let out a weak voice. Call the wind. Chapter 32-22. Escape back to Qingzhou. When they saw Lin Ling, they were all overjoyed. However, when they saw the mysterious power behind them, they knew they had to leave immediately. What happened? Meng Lu asked first. There's no time to explain. Let's leave this place first. I'll be in charge of opening the exit. Lin Ling stared at the spirit formation passageway and discovered that the suction force had reignited. He immediately activated the space-time divine steel and ordered Meng Lu and the others to attack the broken spirit formation passageway. Rumble. Everyone knew the urgency of the matter. They hurriedly followed Lin Ling's instructions and used their martial arts to attack the spirit formation passageway. With everyone's attacks, the spirit formation passageway continued to shatter, causing the tentacle-like suction force to struggle. All right. After a short while, Lin Ling looked at the crowd. A huge stone stele sat before him. The stone stele opened an ancient door that seemed to lead to another world. That was another effect of the space-time divine stele. As long as a corresponding spirit formation was set up at a certain location, one could reach that location through the space-time divine stele. Of course, activating the space-time divine stele required some time. That was why Lin Ling ordered Meng Lu and the others to attack the spirit formation passageway. After that, the crowd entered the space-time divine stele one after another. Rumble. The door of the space-time divine stele quietly closed. At the same time, the space-time divine stele became illusory and disappeared without a trace. After the crowd left, the terrifying suction force surged out from the broken spirit formation passageway again. However, it did not discover Lin Ling and the others and could only retreat. Damn it! In the sky above Yuzhou, the huge compass let out a furious voice. He had actually allowed the demon sun and the others to escape. I don't care who you are. Even if I have to search the entire 9 provinces, I'll find all of you. The compass let out a majestic voice. It was the voice of the Tianwen Valley. Although he was the son of martial god Qilin, their father and son relationship had been strained all these years. It was all because of their interests. But no matter what, they were still father and son. So this enmity was absolutely irreconcilable. Almost at the same time, in the distant horizon, a woman was frowning. She was extremely beautiful and agile. But if one looked into her eyes, they would discover that there was a valiant and domineering aura in her eyes. And she was Lily Empress. Father is dead. Lily Empress mumbled to herself. She reached out her hand as if to touch the chaos around her. Then she suddenly laughed bitterly. I don't know why, but I don't feel the slightest bit of sadness. She shook her head helplessly. Chapter 32-31. Who would swallow who? Although Lin Ling had 120 world speed, he could not unleash this speed in the body of the realm-swallowing beast. At the critical moment, Lin Ling shouted, "1,000 transformations!" Countless Lin Ling appeared, attracting the attention of the aphids. Using this opportunity, Lin Ling kept slashing with his sword, killing the aphids. However, there were too many aphids. There were still aphids entangling Lin Ling, and a sharp mouth pierced towards Lin Ling's body. This change was too sudden, and Lin Ling could not react in time. Dragon Bone! However, Lin Ling's pupils constricted, and a sharp light bloomed. Ka. Terrifying physical strength erupted, and the dragon bone formed a strong defense, blocking the sharp mouth. If the mouth entered Lin Ling's body, Lin Ling would be sucked clean. After blocking the sharp mouth, Lin Ling unleashed all his strength, and his 4 dantians merged with his body. Boom! A terrifying thing happened. The aphids, which were the size of calves, were crushed by Lin Ling. Smelly black blood splattered all over Lin Ling. The sword god is coming. At the same time, Lin Ling slashed with his sword, cutting all the aphids that tried to pounce on him in half. Using this opportunity, he rushed forward. The surrounding illusions were also swallowed by the aphids, and Lin Ling became more and more anxious. Slash! 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 At this moment, Lin Ling could only rush forward, cutting open the Black Sea. In the end, even little Kunlun appeared, forming a sharp vine array around Lin Ling, cutting everything. However, little Kunlun's appearance did not help much, because the surrounding Black Sea was swallowing little Kunlun. Obviously, Lin Ling had a fierce aura, so he was only afraid of the aphids. However, little Kunlun was not. Little Kunlun, come back now. Lin Ling made the call, and he had no choice but to use the catastrophe-destroying Sun Bow. He had already made up his mind. If he could not get out of the world-swallowing beast's body, then he would risk his life to activate the true inheritance dark sword. Xiao, 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 xiao. The Black Sea was stirred up and scattered, revealing a large space. Suddenly, Lin Ling saw a black sarcoma in the center of the space. It was like a heart. Is this the heart of the realm-swallowing beast? Lin Ling's expression changed. He did not care whether he guessed it or not. He pounced on the sarcoma, and then he slashed. In an instant, the entire Black Ocean started to shake, and numerous cries of pain resounded. Lin Ling knew that he had made the right bet. We are both realm-swallowing beasts. If you want to swallow me, why don't I swallow you? Lin Ling's eyes turned cold. He chopped the black tumor into pieces and stuffed them all into his mouth. The taste was bloody, and Lin Ling almost vomited. The citizens of the Yin state have an outstanding status in the 9 states. With this status alone, other than the Yin state and the Miao state, no one in the 9 states would dare to provoke you. Even the Emperor God is no exception. Martial uncle, he said with a smile. Then he left after giving some instructions. It seemed like he had some matters to attend to. Thank you, Uncle He. Lin Ling and the others immediately bowed. They could tell that Uncle Master, he was taking good care of them for Xing Xian's sake. No need. Your master saved me once in the past. Today, I am repaying his kindness. Rest for a while. I will take care of everything for you. Uncle He replied faintly from afar. After he left, Sakura and Dream Flow winked at Lin Ling, and so did Lin Ling. How's the Star Stone? He, don't worry. We took a lot. We won't let you down. What about the source of life? Got it. After hearing Lin Ling's words, Sakura and Dream Flow were obviously excited. Dream Flow asked curiously, You surpassed Zilong and the others? You reached the end faster than them? Or did you get it during the battle? Those guys aren't much of a threat to me, but this is the end point. Speaking of this, Lin Ling was obviously angry. Grand Change Nebula sect is lying. This end is not a demonic beast of the half-step saint realm, but a demonic beast of the sage realm. A demonic beast of the sage realm? What is that? Sakura and Dream Flow were shocked. Realm-devouring beast. The fist collided with the rock snake in an instant, causing the air to explode, and the green mountain to reverberate incessantly. Looking at Lin Ling again, He was still standing there like a pine tree. Everyone's pupils immediately trembled violently. So strong. The six demons' venerable's complexion also changed slightly. He had discovered that Lin Ling's innate talent was fire attribute after he had exchanged a blow with Lin Ling. It didn't seem very strong on the surface, but the density of his boundary essence was beyond his imagination. It didn't seem like a fifth-level half-saint at all. Again, of course, the 9 prefectures' geniuses who could appear here naturally wouldn't be easily defeated. The 6 demons' venerable slithered like a snake, causing a huge gray whirlpool. Upon closer inspection, it was a rock whirlpool. Although you have some ability, I have the rock god's bloodline. My defense is extremely strong, so I might not be able to defeat you in one move. However, after 10 or 100 moves, you will definitely reveal your flaws. In the air, the ferocious aura was extremely terrifying. A fatal blow appeared behind Lin Ling and shot towards Lin Ling. Bang! A dull sound was heard. What everyone expected did not happen. Instead, Lin Ling did not even look behind him. He lightly punched out and blocked the fatal blow once again. How is this possible? This time, it was impossible for people not to be shocked. One had to know that not many people in the late stage of the half-saint realm would dare to easily receive a blow from the 6 demons venerable. If one encountered a warrior with a desolate body below the 5th grade, even a peak half-saint would lose to the 6 demons venerable. Bang! 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 However, nothing was impossible for Lin Ling facing the 6 demons venerable's attacks. Lin Ling had blocked all of them. The 6 demons venerable even saw Lin Ling block his attacks with one hand behind his back. Is the 6 demons venerable going to be defeated? Many people exclaimed secretly. In fact, even the 6 demons venerable was secretly feeling uneasy. Oh no, what is this person's strength? Why can't I take him down even though my talent and cultivation level are higher than his? Most importantly, I have 70% of my cultivation level power. Lin Ling spoke at this moment. You have made so many moves previously. It should be my turn now. I will defeat you with one punch. Lin Ling retracted his left fist as though it was an arrow that was about to leave the bow. Not good. Although Lin Ling looked very ordinary, and his realm essence was not turbulent, the 6 demons venerable did not dare to underestimate him. Suddenly, gray rocks appeared all over his body, and he turned into an ancient divine mountain. Defeat him with one punch? That's impossible. Many people were shaking their heads, but they couldn't be sure because they had all witnessed Lin Ling's miraculous feats before. At the same time, Lin Ling also threw out a punch. However, it was like an arrow that was shot out from a bow. At the beginning, there was fire elemental boundary energy spreading out. However, when it got close to the gray rock, a terrifying thing finally happened. An incomparably ferocious aura erupted like a ferocious beast. This made Lin Ling's punch faster and more powerful. The combination of his physical strength and the 4 dantians formed a punch that could destroy 10,000 worlds. Boom! The gray rocks were shaken by the punch. Inside the rocks, the 6 demons venerable's expression changed drastically. He felt an unparalleled force colliding with his body. He could not resist at all. This was not the strength of a half-step saint, but the strength of a saint. Ka, 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 ka. Cracks began to appear on the gray rocks. Then, a figure flew out and smashed into the green hills in the distance, causing the hills to shake. Under the green hills, there was a dead silence. Everyone was dumbfounded. They never thought that Lin Ling, who was only a half-step saint, would win in such an easy way. He defeated the 6 demons venerable with only one arm. Even the eyes of the seniors of the Grand Simplicity Nebula sect flickered. Previously, Lin Ling had burst out with ferocious aura. Could it be that he had practiced a technique related to ferocious aura? Or could it be that he was hiding some other talent that was related to ferocious aura? Most importantly, they did not understand why Lin Ling's punch was so powerful. Could it be the strength of his physical body? But during the assessment of the glazed ball, this guy only had the talent of fire element, right? Who else is not convinced? At this moment, under the green hills, Lin Ling glanced at the crowd and said indifferently, but no one spoke. Everyone was silent. The reason was that the 6 demons venerable was ranked among the top. Now that he had been defeated, it was meaningless for others to challenge him. Most importantly, Lin Ling had defeated the 6 demons venerable with only one arm. Perhaps his full strength was in that arm, or perhaps he did not use his full strength at all. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.